We've all been there where you've had a ton of interviews, a green screen, a stand-up on top of the green screen, and then a town hall meeting to boot. This is health insurance. And if you haven't been there, you're gonna. And so I'm here to help out with that. Hi, I'm Steven. I've shot thousands of setups and I break down lighting and video so you don't have to. Let's see what we got going on here. All right, so right off the bat, the cinematographer had a big issue to deal with. Sometimes we don't get like the greatest projects, but we are hired for our expertise. So in this case, check this out. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 interview setups. And they didn't have a lot of space. In fact, I think they only had one room. So what happens when your producer says, hey, give me 7, 8, 10 different looks in this one room? You might be pulling your hair out, or you say, hey producer, I can't give you different looks, but we can shoot them all right here and maybe like change up the frame a little bit. And then they all say, why can't you give me unique looks? And then you say, oh, it's gonna cost way more. And they're gonna say, then give me what you got. And so first off, how do you make this work in a small space? Well, they didn't try to make it look unique. They just tried to mix it up enough so that it wasn't the same. So check out the background on this lady. You have the 2 plants and the same 2 plants there, same 2 plants there. They mixed it up in this shot and then that shot. So they kind of mixed it up a little bit. They even changed the, their, whatever this is called, whatever those things are called, they changed that. If all this is making sense, then you should check out my free guides to popular interview setups. It's institutional knowledge that you won't get at film school. Okay, so check this out. If we scrub through here, this, you see the color difference there? You see how we have white light, darkness, but then it's got some blue-green fringe to it? I think that's a Leica. I think a Leica blade is cutting this. So this is light number 1, and this is getting cut off. And then inside light number 1, you have, it looks like it's pointed this way with, I think that's a gobo, maybe that one, I don't know. But you can see the effect. It's blurry. So with these Leicas, you can blur them, and it makes a lot of sense that they would have done it this way. Whatever's up here, I don't know. Who knows? And the point is, I'm not going to try to figure it out perfectly. The point is that you know that you can do this on your own. So, and it looks like they changed them from scene to scene. So here are the ladies. Again, you have your vertical striations, but then it looks like there's something blurry right there. And then it gets cut off. Again, I think this is the leaf for gobo number 1 right there, and then gobo number 2 is up here with a different well, on a different light. I think there's 2 lights. I think there's light number 1 and the light number 2 for the background. And what they did is, I think that you have your person, boom, and then you just have a light and you have a light and you shoot it in and it hits the background. This guy's cutting off and it's doing this. And this guy is cutting off here and it's doing this, and it leaves you with this this beautiful negative space right there, which is what they got right here going on. I've never done that before, and I think that is super cool. I probably wouldn't do it because I prefer having like an actual like window with blinds and then shooting a light through it. But I tell you what, for a cheap process, as a fast process where you don't have to build all that crap, you just stick up a light and put a little gobo in there and it casts this pattern. This is an excellent option. This is excellent. They did a very good job matching this cut here with both the leaves on the lights to make it look like parallel lines. They did an excellent job. But then check this out. See how dark this is? See how dark this is? And how dark this is, and then oh, we get this light spot right there. That is coming from her key light. So she's got a, probably, you can even trace the source. She's got some type of source right up here, and it's a big, I would say that it's probably a softbox. Right there, boom. It's casting a shadow like that. And that's the direction that it's coming from, all the way up here. So like 3 feet maybe off to the right of the camera, and that's what's casting down here. And then they have, as you can see, you see a little kick right off the face? They got something going on here. It's maybe like a 1x1 panel or something. Just psh, 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 psh. Oh, that's what's casting this as well. So all of that is just doing this. Psh, psh, psh. So all together, it's a setup, right? And then they just changed the props. It's all the same here. And then same thing, same thing, same thing. There you go. But these people, is there something different about this? Yeah. Oh my gosh, did they flip it? Did they flip the key? Did they flip the window light? No, they literally in post, they flipped the shot. You can tell because I paid attention. This picture back here, you have white and you have white, and then you have some darker like beige. And in the other shots, this guy is on the other side. So they just flipped it in post. Your editors can do that sometimes, and it's cool. Don't get butthurt about it. Let's move on to the more cooler things. Yes, okay. Awesome shot. This is probably my favorite shot out of the entire spot. Favorite shot out of the entire spot. So, this is really cool. First off, back here is the town hall that we'll get to. They used it as a backdrop in this particular scenario. They shot her at a very wide aperture to make it all nice and mushy, which is great. I'm not really gonna comment on the cinematography here. We're just talking about, oh my gosh. I said I wasn't gonna comment on it, but he's shooting into the L of the room, which is beautiful. I have to comment on that here because it's beautiful. I love doing that. So anyway, back to the lighting. So what they did here is they just used these lights, there you go, to fill the room. And that's it. That's it. That's all they did. And then there are, you'll see some of these little production fixtures, like the quasars or whatever, Astera tubes, whatever tube lights. You don't need to, but in order to get level on the face, you have to get something in here, right? Because you have these windows that you're balancing for. So I know that they didn't have anything over here, which is what I would have done. I would have pushed something, but if you don't have a budget, we're working with a small budget here, so you just use what you have. You can use these ceiling fixtures here, and that lifts everybody consistently. And then of course these folks on the outside are going to get hit by the windows more. Now so that's the background. Let's move on to the face. This is pretty cool because do you see any glasses? Yeah, that's this row of lights right over her head. And what the cinematographer did, do you see how much brighter she is versus the folks in the background? That means that she's got light on her face. Somebody went threw light on her face, and it's coming from the ceiling. You can tell because her hair is all lit up. Her forehead is all lit up. Her nose is lit up. Her cheeks are lit up. And then you have this ever so slight of a shadow underneath. Boom. Now there's a couple ways you can do this. If you have the budget, I don't know why you would do this, but if you wanted to, you could build a contraption that has some scaffolding. That's supposed to be the scaffolding. And then you hang lights, like sky panels or whatever. And I know you're probably thinking, but Steve, I don't have that budget. No. And you probably have the headroom for it, but why would you do that? It's just a ton of work. And it's not really conducive to a fast-paced environment where you have to go from this setup to that setup or changing it if it turns out that it was set up wrong or you needed to shift it. That's a pain in the ass. So what you do instead is you can have a stand on the side that has a frame armed out, and this could be a 6x or 4x maybe, and then you have a light poking into it and that bounces, boom. But I don't think that's what they did here. Notice that the ceiling is white, right? I think they just took a light and poked it directly into the ceiling and then let it do its thing. That's what I would have done to make it 1, fast, and 2, easy. Yep, especially if you're moving fast, and I guarantee you they were moving fast on this job. So you have this top light coming down here, boom, boom, boom. You have this kicker light coming from this direction. Where is there a shadow? Damn near close. And that's what's casting all of this. That's what's creating that beautiful back edge. God, that's gorgeous. Oh, yeah, look at that. So you have one light up here. Well, one light shooting up here, right? A source, a second source right there. And then I think that they filled in the face on, I would say, both sides. And that's what's keeping this from being so dark. Also, oh shoot, do you see this? You see that sharp line right there? Where is it? I think it goes up there. You see it right there. There's a sharp line. So that would look like a hard light, right? Either A, there was a little hard light. That's just a practical, but I think more likely it's one of these tube lights. Now tube lights are soft, right? But they're only soft in one direction. And so if you have another one of these, another row over here, and it's doing this, and then there's one light that comes right over her, and it like gets cut off, like right there. Oops. What are we doing? If you have a light that gets cut off right there, and only this part is seeing the face, it's soft this direction, but it's hard in the other direction. And if you're only cutting off this part, and so that the rest of this is being seen by the face, then that'll act just like a hard light. So they did an awesome job, but what I would have done differently is have some way to have the eye see a light source, because right now those eyes are dead. Look at them. If you can, look at that. You can even see it, the faintest ghost of an eye light right up there, but that's from the bounce overhead, right? I would have had a small panel light off to the side just to create a beautiful glint in both eyes, because glints are beautiful. Moving on. Here's the spray and pray town hall meeting. So all of these chairs get filled, right? What did they do here? Oh my goodness. Okay, so you have to work with what you got. I mean, this is exactly what it is. You see that there's a building over here that's getting blown up with sun. It's the rest of that building, and then you have, looks like trees and maybe some more building over here. So this is building, 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 and then these are trees, right? And I mean, you can see the sun right there. Boom! The sun is coming down like that. It's hitting right there. You can see right there. There's some back there. There's not a lot you can do about that. Now, you could say that they would or could ND the windows, but we're talking about working on a budget, right? You're going to spend thousands of dollars, not thousands, but hundreds and hundreds of dollars, hundreds, gosh, to ND all of these windows, right? And then you're going to spend money on like 2 or 3 PAs to do it. If you want it done in a timely manner, then you got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Was it 6, 7 PAs? How many windows go back this way? So no. You set your exposure for the room, and it makes it so much faster. And so you just have to deal with what you got using the fixtures that you have. And you notice that their faces are not that bright. They had to balance exterior exposure with interior exposure. And honestly, for a show this cheap, I don't know why they didn't just blow out the windows. I know why, because it would have acted like such a bright source, you would lose a ton of detail. So that's what they did there. Sometimes you have to make it work and not make it gorgeous, right? These are just grab and go shots. They didn't do anything different. You see the shape on his face right here? That's just from the window, that's it. And okay, so let's go back. So same thing with her. All along the face here, even the nose, that's just the window light. You can see how blue it is. They didn't do anything different. You can even see some of those tube lights, those practical tubes, and her glasses. Oh, there's a good one. So see those vertical ones right there? Yeah. It's just grab and go stuff. They're the vertical ones. That's a reflection of these guys in her glasses. I wonder what that is. Looks like there's like a thing holding a light. Oh, here we go. Here's the sunlight coming in. And it's just doing that. That's what you got to work with. Oh, extra credit. Who here can tell me what this is? Could it be that that's a reflection of a giant source up here that's going? Did they rig a whole bunch of lights to shoot up into this middle channel to light everybody evenly? No. That is these guys right up here, and if you continue the trend, you can just trace it right there. Go straight up there. Trace these dudes. And it matches the direction of these guys. So it's just these lights. Remember I said that they're soft this direction, but they're hard in the opposite direction. And that's what's casting these sharp little lights. Sharp little shadows. Also, notice how dark these folks are versus these folks. Especially her. You can see how much brighter she is versus like her, right? You can see how much brighter he is versus her. Well, part of that is due to the window, but he's got a lot of light hitting his, you can even see it on his forehead. His head, the bald head. I think what they did here is they probably have a light on either side shooting into the ceiling, because you can see how much darker it is over here. See how dark this is versus this area? You can see that this is bright, this is darker. This is bright, this is darker. I think that they've lit this middle section up right here with just bounce light straight into the ceiling. That's what I would have done. So far, they're only using 2 fixtures. Oh, that's a very pretty shot. So this, is that real time? Holy crap. See this column here? I think those are PTZ cameras. I don't know. No, that's got to be this guy back here. He's capturing this. Anyway. Oh, look at that. That's a camera. Huh. That might be that wide shot that we saw earlier. Anyway, look at her glasses. They didn't do anything different for her. All of this, and all of this, and all of this, and all of this is coming from that window right over there. Right over there. And all of this shadow right here, it's not as created as you think. This is just the hair acting on her right there, because this is the real shadow, which is only like maybe half a stop under this. But right here is from the hair. So that's just a happy accident. Okay. That's cool. So we have a bar here holding a, looks like a clamp. No, that is a clamp. That's a little magic arm holding some type of a clamp that's holding this fixture. You know what I think they did? Yep, they did it. So when they scouted this place, they had these lights. And then the DP was probably like, all right, well, in order to make this room work, I need 2 2500s, or I need a 4K, or I need 2 4Ks, or I need a whole bunch of lights and stuff. And the producer said, how much is that going to cost? And he said, thousands. And the producer said, nope, you got $400. And instead, they purchased, I think that the room didn't come with a full array of these, or they needed more. And so they filled in these with extras. And you can see that it's temporary. They like went to Home Depot or something, and they have this clamp here holding it down, or arming it down. And how they got it connected, how this one thing is holding like this 8-foot stretch, I don't know. But they purchased this, like a direct copy of whatever this thing is. They purchased another one. And you can see they even have power going straight to it. So they must have 2 tracks. Huh. And that's how you get around that. That's some creative That's some creative thinking. Good job, guys. All right, so here's a stand-up. Oh, look at that. That's like a recording light or something. What is that? That's a reflection of something over here, I want to say. Or maybe it's like a stoplight. Is that a stoplight? What the frick? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All right, so let's check this out. This back frame, she's not a part of this. This back frame right here is it's a plate shot. So after what I would have done and what I suspect they did is after they shot everything, and it's probably like blue hour, you know, here's the horizon, here's the horizon, and the sun has already set down here, and it's just creating blue hour, and here's their building, and so then they shot this direction. That's how come it's so well exposed. Well, it's well exposed because the iris down, but you can see how dark it is in here, right? And they just, you know, after they move everything out, they shoot this stuff and they get a plate shot, and then they get this green screen. So let's talk about this green screen, but I'm going to zoom out so you can really see. There is a source, well, you can even trace it right there. Trace that. There is a source up here. It's a softbox. I think it's the same softbox that they use for the interviews. Probably didn't have an egg crate on this one either. And then they have a hard light in the kicker position. And that hard light, let's go back. That hard light is creating this whole edge right there. And that right there. Ooh, you can even trace it. So somewhere back there is where in the kicker position. And then on the other side, we have nothing. There's nothing there. Why is it so well exposed? Because they put a fill card over here. That's it. And that is it. And you can see, I bet we can see on the eyes. I bet. See how dead it is? Ah, that sucks. That's what happens when you follow popular trends and you like people the way that you see it done in like photo shoots and stuff. There's nothing in the eyes. They're dead. There's no catch light. How do you get a catch light? You bring that frickin' source down, dude. You don't have it up here. You bring it down here where the eyes can see it. And oh, but that means that the shadow is not going to go this way. That means the shadow will go this way. Yep. And it's no different with windows. Windows do exactly the same thing. What you don't block out a window and then put a giant glowing source up here. That's stupid. That's a lot of work. It's unrealistic and it's unnatural. So photographers like doing this because it drives the shadows down. But for video, you need to be able to see the eyes. You do. And they screwed up there. I want to say they screwed up. It's personal preference, right? But to have the eyes be completely dead, I think, is a great disservice to the product that you're trying to sell. I mean, you got very slight glint, which is what the eye is saying of this softbox here. That, I would never have done that. You want to see the eye. The eye is the window into the soul. And if your representative has no soul, then it just looks weird, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there you go. When she's like straight at camera, you can see these beautiful catch light. Oh, it's gorgeous. But when she's not, when she's looking down, or when she's giving any kind of expression, I would have brought that softbox down ever so slightly, just enough so that, and you just have a reader copy, because there's a teleprompter on the camera. So you just have a reader copy, have a look at the eyes before you roll, and then you see how she reads, make your adjustments from there so you can see the eyes. There's always more to learn, and I've made an easy introduction into commercial cinematography with the popular interview styles. It's available free at StephenLightStudy.com. It's linked below, along with one of my favorite resources, Create Against 10 Rules for Students and Teachers. And hey, if this still isn't enough, I'm also offering critiques of your work, up to 2 scenes a piece. Just check the schedule for live recordings. Availability is limited, but there is a second evergreen option. If you want to submit it, I would be happy to help critique your work. And that's it. I hope you got something out of this. I hope this helps you in your journey to understanding what you can do, what others have done, and what you can get away with. It's not all like the big stuff that you see in the big movies where they have big budgets. Sometimes your creativity, while not always artistically incredible, it's not always artistically satisfying. It's still satisfying in a way that you can, it's still problem solving. And that's what you're hired for, right? You're hired to solve problems. And so it can still be satisfying in that category. So like I said, I hope you got something out of this. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more of this stuff coming up, and peace.